So, on the article, The Well-Being Development Model, a theoretical model to improve outcomes among criminal justice system involve individuals that we will talk about later, you have stated that due to the lack of services available during and after incarceration, individuals living incarceration demonstrate an unmet need at a greater prevalence than members of the general public. Trauma exposure is nearly universal, with up to 98% of incarcerated men and women reporting having experienced at least one traumatic event. These include child abuse, physical attacks, intimate partner violence, rape or sexual violence, witnessing a murder, and having a family member or loved one killed. What is trauma and why is it so important in your research in relation to the incarcerated people and the reentry?
Yeah, so trauma is a psychological experience in response to an extremely stressful event. Psychological trauma is such a state in which an individual's nervous system, cognitive systems, emotional systems become overwhelmed because of how extremely stressful the event is. The reason why it's so critical to our work is because trauma, symptoms of untreated trauma or unmanaged trauma can influence every aspect of human beings' interactions with society and with other human beings, and also influence every aspect of physical health. So we've found one, I would just also add that the impact of trauma on people's functioning has been discussed and researched for thousands of years. And it's had all sorts of different names in terms of identifying when these extremely stressful events impact people's interactions with the world around them. What we found in research in the past few decades is that those individuals with lifetime traumatic experiences are more likely to experience the same types of characteristics and factors that are prevalent among people who become incarcerated, such as aggression, impulsivity, an inability to appropriately interpret danger or respond to threats, limitations in some decision-making, connecting consequences to actions, substance use disorders, mental health disorders. There's a whole range of consequences of trauma that are highly correlated with or highly prevalent, like I had said, among people who eventually become incarcerated. What we also know is that the more trauma that an individual experiences, the more likelihood these negative characteristics or factors are to surface within that individual. So if we can treat and disrupt symptoms of trauma that are highly correlated with behaviors that result in a person becoming incarcerated, then we're more likely to reduce the number of people incarcerated, more likely to reduce the amount of time, the number of times people become reincarcerated, and really start to work on, again, this reducing who is actually involved in the system. Another reason why it's so important is that research does show that untreated trauma is highly correlated with criminal justice system involvement. But one of the things that's less talked about is that once people become involved in the system, particularly once they become incarcerated, they continue to experience lifetime traumatic events, and they continue to be victims of trauma during incarceration and after they release. So when the prevention of incarceration is missed, we are subjecting people to continue to experience events that are likely to continue to worsen symptoms of trauma, which are likely to, again, in the future be associated with criminal behavior or behavior that predicts criminal behavior and further involvement in the system.